Gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Comrade! Labor right, them a go down, bong. Them a go down, bong. Them a go down. Is that? Margie, him a god picking. No hope their work if you touch Margie. Margie, him a god picking. No hope their work if you touch Margie. His, we now vote for Labour. Orange we a come out in now. If you love the PNP, who no step out for Marky G. Jamaica just come along with we. People time come, people time come, people time is up.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I say that we are. Pledge your allegiance.
Who's gonna run this town tonight?
Yeah, I say that we
We gonna run this town.
Okay, so it's been a while since I made a video, and a couple of people have been saying, hey, I really need to start again because they enjoyed the videos and they were quite informative. So here we go with the video that people have been asking me to make more than anything else. And it's strangely enough, if you're not Jamaican, what is Graves' disease? Now, Graves' disease is a disease of the thyroid gland, which is a gland that is right in the center of the neck. And it's what usually we see as a goiter when it's swollen. But to understand Graves' disease, we have to understand first the functioning of the thyroid gland, and we have to understand a little bit more about autoimmune diseases or diseases where the body attacks itself. Some of these diseases, such as lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, are more common, but Graves' disease pretty much falls into that, but is not like the others. So what is a thyroid gland? Let's start right there. Now, our metabolism is regulated by the thyroid hormones that are produced by this gland, meaning that if your thyroid gland is too slow, then you tend to gain weight, you feel cold all the time, your bowels may slow down and you get constipation, you may have swelling. But then if the thyroid gland is too active, then you're going to end up in a situation where you're going to be losing weight, your bowels are going to be more active than usual. You're going to have this nervousness where your heart's beating too fast, your palms might be sweaty even when it's not at your heat intolerance, and overall you have some amount of anxiety. So the body has to keep that balance so that the rest of the organs can function, and the organ to do that is the thyroid gland. Now, to regulate that, there's a hormone called TSH that is made in the brain, and that TSH comes down in the bloodstream like any other hormone, and it binds to the gland, the cells in the gland, and tells them, hey, make some thyroid hormones. And that is what regulates the body, because if you have too much thyroid hormone circulating around, it goes to the brain and said, hey, stop making TSH or make less TSH so that the thyroid will produce less hormones. And then that will happen, the TSH levels will fall, and then naturally the thyroid hormones will fall, and you keep it in that little sweet spot right there. But if the thyroid hormones fall too low and you start to get the symptoms of hypothyroidism, then you have less hormones going back to the brain to say, hey, stop making TSH, and then the brain will make more TSH that goes down to the thyroid gland and says, hey, let's crank up production, the hormones are running low, and so again you keep it in that sweet spot. So that's pretty much how the thyroid gland works, and that is how the body regulates the thyroid hormone level, so your metabolism doesn't get too fast or too slow, and you have the effects on the heart and the skin, etc. So we move now to an autoimmune disease. Now, your body has what are called antibodies, and these are circulating in the bloodstream from day to day. Every time you get a cut and a bacteria comes in, every time a virus comes in through your whether your stomach, your nose, whatever, it goes into the bloodstream. Your body recognizes as a foreign creature and starts attacking it until it destroys it. So when you're exposed to germs, as we are right throughout the day, your body has these antibodies that are just destroying them. And they usually are formed because they would have gotten some exposure to them before. And that's the basis of a vaccine, where a vaccine would introduce a dead virus or part of a virus to boost the immune system. And then antibodies are formed that when you have a real infection that comes in, those antibodies are circulating already and they'll destroy that virus. Now, unfortunately, from time to time, you have what is called an autoimmune disease. Auto mean pretty much self. And what happens is that the body turns on itself, thinking that certain cells are really a foreign invader, and starts to destroy them. When that happens in your joints, especially these small joints right here, you end up with what you call rheumatoid arthritis. When they affect any linings of the body, from the lungs to the lining of the peritone, the abdomen, then you can get like lupus. Lupus even can damage the kidney and so on. So it causes a lot of inflammation that destroys that area of the body that it is attacking. That is why autoimmune diseases are difficult to treat, because it's your own body that you have to stop from attacking itself. Now, Graves' disease is different from other autoimmune conditions because instead of destroying the gland, what it does, it produces an antibody that looks like the TSH that's coming from the brain. And it keeps on attaching to the thyroid gland and saying, hey, produce more of the thyroid hormones. And even when you're gone into a state of hyperthyroidism, where the gland is really overactive and you're shooting out a lot of thyroid hormones, the heart is beating fast, you have the sweaty skin, you have the anxiety, the nervousness, all of these conditions are happening because of the increased thyroid hormones being produced. The body does not stop because the antibodies keep stimulating the gland, and that is what causes Graves' disease. So how do you get it? We're not sure. Maybe it's something genetic, maybe it has to do with something that we would have been exposed to. Maybe a virus triggers it, and then you lead to this condition where the body just starts to attack the thyroid gland, but in so attacking it, causes it to produce more thyroid hormones and turns it into a super thyroid hormone factory that just doesn't listen to the brain sending TSH to slow down production. So it affects, your heart primarily. It can affect your eyes because of the same sort of autoimmune antibodies start to attack the muscles in the eyes. You can have eye swelling, you can have the eye pulping out, as we would say, proptosis, and there are a bunch of other issues that you may have, like skin changes. So it's a difficult condition to treat in some people. Sometimes what you do is to give them steroids, or you give medication to treat the heart and then to slow down on the production of the thyroid itself. Sometimes you have to just take out the thyroid gland altogether in surgery. But the steroid hormones now, what you use steroid hormones for, and any asthmatic would know this because they take that brown pump in addition to the blue pump. The brown pump cuts down on chronic inflammation, and that is pretty much what you're trying to do. Cut down on the inflammation, which the antibodies are part of the inflammatory system. So the inflammation that's taking place. So what happened is that your steroid's supposed to cut down on the activity of these antibodies that are affecting the thyroid gland. But in so doing, they have their own side effects. They cause your face to get swollen, they cause your midsection to put on weight, they may affect your muscles, may affect your bones, so you don't want to be on them for a long time. But once you come off them, then you may have the body just going back to its usual self. But there are other medications, as I said, but the important thing is to protect the heart, because you can have heart failure and then you control the rest of the body through kind of regulating the thyroid hormone levels, getting back in that sweet spot, and then you'll have symptoms getting a little bit better. So that is pretty much what Graves' disease is. This is usually not the length of my videos, but this answers a question that has been asked them several times. So hope you learned something. So one of the
Sharing my
questions I
hair
get a
care
lot is,
routine.
what is my hair care routine? Well, it's complicated, but let's just take it one by one. And we take something that affects a lot of people. So split ends. Many people ask, how do you treat split ends? You can't really treat split ends. What you have to do is to just trim it. But what you want to do after you cut your split ends, is that you get a proper treatment, and that is with moisturizing and sealing. Now, usually this is done when your hair is damp. Don't dry it fully after you wash. After that, you just want to get proper moisturizer in, and then you get your sealant. Now your sealant, I like argan oil, Moroccan argan oil, which if you comment, like, and share, I can give you a free bottle of argan oil if you come by my office. So that is what I usually use. Now, if you are not washing your hair and you just want to moisturize and seal, I would recommend that you just get some rose oil and spritz it. Once you spritz it, then you can go ahead with your moisturizer and then, of course, your sealant. And that is what I usually use for my split ends. So follow me for more hair care routine.